Welcome to Day 1 of the 2025 UIM World Jet Boat Championships presented by Bonnets Energy Corp. This Day 1 highlight video is brought to you by Expert Mobile Communications, proudly serving the Grand Prairie community since 1993. This year, the World Marathon kicks off in the picturesque riverfront town of Peace River, Alberta. As race teams register and go through tech inspections to prepare themselves for the races, the town was busy preparing for the River Days, a 3-day community-wide event hosted in conjunction with the World Jet Boat Races to welcome visitors, reconnect with locals, and showcase all the awesomeness Peace River has to offer. Racers and navigators also got an early dunk in the capsule training, one of the many aspects of registration that teams must complete to ensure the safety of everyone involved in this year's marathon. Before we catch up with some of the racers, let's review the race course for this year's World Championships. As mentioned, racing kicks off on Peace River on Saturday and Sunday for a total of 192 race miles being made up of both long legs and circuits. Then, racers travel 120 miles southwest to Grand Prairie for a day off on Monday. Then, they hit the Wapiti and Smoky Rivers Tuesday and Wednesday for 206 miles of long leg river racing. After another day off on Thursday, racers attend a mandatory show and shine in Fort St. John, British Columbia, before hitting the water Saturday and Sunday with more mixed long legs and circuit racing in front of Peace Island Park in Taylor, BC, for another 168 combined miles. For all the gearheads out there, we interviewed a few race teams to better understand the 4 different classes competing in this year's 2025 World Jet Boat Championships, beginning with the FX class. Kyle, Quinn, Johnson, all the way up from the US. Thanks so much for joining us. You guys had a heater going on last year in your own home worlds in 2024. What have you guys brought here in 2025 in Peace River?
This is the same boat, just a CT 400 here in FX class. She's still running good, same as last year, so we're pretty excited.
Well, thanks so much for making the trek up, you guys. Let's talk about that FX class a little bit. You guys are hitting on the sharp end at 99 miles an hour, almost hitting the triple digits in FX class. And you guys, you run a cast iron block 350 4-bolt main with an aluminum head, around that 400 horse mark, is that right?
That's correct, yeah, 400 horsepower.
You guys got a stack class with a lot of Mexican racers, another Canadian, and the single US boat, which is you guys. How are you guys going to keep ahead of everyone else when you're all running around that same horsepower mark?
We're just going to do the best we can. We've done most of our work already. Just got to trust our equipment and just keep double checking everything and just run hard and play it safe.
Awesome. Well, good luck, you guys. Thanks for making the trek up. We're going to be cheering you on all week here.
Awesome. Great to be here.
Dave and Tim, thanks so much for making the trek down, you guys. First-time racers. Let me get your perspective on it. First time showing up with a boat like this and you're entering in a world marathon.
Interesting. It's definitely feeling the pressure here to get some speed and compete. Lots of help around here. It's been fantastic. So far, so good.
This is the problem with hanging around with Tanner Froelich all these years. He talked you into getting a boat, didn't he?
Tanner and growing up with the Kings in our backyard, they tested back there all the time. So we're pretty hooked from a young age.
So you got Spencer and Russell. How excited are you to see them bring in the old Sunset Shaker back out of retirement?
That's the one. It's pretty fun to watch that boat all the years that we did. Pretty cool to be in the same race as them.
Same race, but fortunately not the same class. I bet you're pretty excited about that.
Very fortunate, absolutely.
All right, guys, first-time racers. We're going to be watching you all week. Good luck.
Thank you very much. All the best.
All right, moving up from the FX class. If you're interested in all the mechanical side of things, we're bumping up a few more horsepower now to the CX class. We've got Tanner Froelich here, one of the sharp end of the CX racers, I would say, based on your finishes here in Canada in the past few years. You got this boat working good. But let's talk about what is powering the CX class boats here in the 2025 Worlds.
The CX class is a GM crate engine called the CT525. They're an LS-based engine, 533 horse. It claims on the GM website, and I think we're a little less than that on ours. And
they're an all-aluminum 6-point. Everyone's familiar with the LS block. Everyone talks LS. You can get 5.3, 6 liters. Yeah. These are the all-aluminum 6.2. They're originally built for circle track racing. 6-bolt, cross-bolted mains. Should be good and stout. We've seen them racing since the 2011 Worlds here in Canada. Recently, you guys are running big velocity stacks. You're making them look sexier. Are they pushing any more horsepower, or is it just about reliability?
It's about reliability, making her breathe, and there's probably a couple more ponies that comes out of that, but for the most part, it is a stock GM-based engine that's very reliable for these boats. They got forged pistons now, and they allow you to run heavier springs to stop them from breaking. High volume oil pumps. They're actually correcting a few things from what were weak links on these engines, and now they just keep ticking like a clock. So.
We ran into the Johnston brothers all the way up from the U.S. running the FX class. They're running on that 400 horse mark, hitting just under 100 miles an hour thereabouts. What are you guys pushing for mile an hour in the CX class?
The best our boat's done is 113 miles an hour, and we're close to it here, just not quite at that. But I'm sure as the race goes on, we'll see those numbers in some of these big valley, high pressure areas. So.
CX class is one of the most stout classes as far as competitors and boat numbers. We've got 20, 21 boats. We're hearing guys like Darren Weaver has now entered the CX class. Now his Unlimited isn't ready to race. Tim Greber's just pulling in behind us. Big A-class racer now moved to CX. It seems like everyone's converging into the CX class. So you're going to have your hands full this week.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Barry Fenton as well. He's racing CX, so it's going to be great. I mean, the fact that I heard Weaver was going to come to CX class, it's going to be fun. This is going to be a great weekend. We have some really cool people I look up to in the racing world that are here, and I'm excited to participate, and it's off my bucket list, so yeah, pretty happy.
I think everyone's excited for the highlight videos, which you can catch all week in the CX class, where you guys, I think this is why everyone loves it, you guys are like inches from one another, maybe a quarter of a mile an hour that separates first from 10th, because you guys are so tightly matched in this GM LS base 6.2 all aluminum motor. Tanner, on behalf of everyone, thanks for showing up this year. We're looking forward to cheering you on all week.
Thank you very much, sir. You guys have a good day.
All right, we're here with CX racer Doug Stowers. Made the trip up from Oregon, your home area there. Last year we had your home race in 2024 and you had some fuel issues, but here you are, 2025, clean slate. What are you looking to do in the CX class this week?
Man, we're ready to rock here. So we got the issues figured out a little bit. Always could be a little bit faster, but mechanically speaking, we're running really strong. So
Nice.
Pretty excited to be here.
Are there some American fans and family you want to say hi to out there watching the U.S.?
Absolutely. First of all, my mother. Hi, Mom.
Always got to say hi to Mom.
Oh, absolutely. God just kept more people than I could ever mention, helped us out to get us here. So, without them, I wouldn't be here. And sure appreciate it.
There's a couple other American teams that we would love to have here. Ryan, Tim, thinking of a few of those guys. Anyone else you're thinking of saying, guys, call you out next year, you got to come up here? Because you've been enjoying your time in Canada so far, haven't you?
Oh, absolutely. The people up here are amazing. Salt of the earth kind of people. And, everybody's willing to drop everything and help you out. And, it just makes it fun, easier and fun, and yeah, there's lots of racers out there. Y'all need to come up here and try it out. It's amazing. I would highly advise it.
In 2011, you and I ran around Western Canada, chased the CX class, which was a new class at that time,
Yep.
and you ended up coming out on top as the CX World Champ in 2011. How are you going to do that again here in 2025?
Old age and treachery, maybe? I don't know. I'm hoping that we can just grind away and make something happen. But right now, I'm a little bit behind the 8 ball, so I'm just going to keep testing one, maybe 2 more things, and then we'll start to see where the rubber meets the road after tomorrow afternoon.
We're here with CX204, Darren Weaver. Normally, U204. What's going on, Darren? You got a V8 behind you, not a turbine.
We just had a little problem with the pump shaft earlier and couldn't get one rebuilt, so we had to drop down to CX for now.
Well, I must say on behalf of all the viewers, we're very excited to see how you're doing in CX. Last time you were running a V8 boat like this, you did really good. We were talking about 2011 Worlds. That year, you and Patty Stratton had a great back and forth battle in a real high-strung V8.
Yeah.
Now you're down in the CX class, but there's 21 boats competing in the CX this year? You're gonna have your hands full.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of good competitors in CX, so we're just going to go out and have some fun.
All right, I'm personally the most excited to highlight the mechanical side of the A class. We got FX, CX, A. You guys are just under the Unlimited, and it's a really cool class because there's a lot of different ways to approach this class as far as cubic inch, naturally aspirated or, inducted, boosted, turbo. You could do so many different things with this class, and it's so cool. But basically, it's 470 cubic inches or under if you're naturally aspirated. That's the limit. Now, if you go to something like a 1050 carb limit, then you can go all the way up to like a 600 cubic inch this year. There's a lot of stuff going on in this class. Tom Kelly made the trek all the way over from New Zealand, and he's been kind enough to highlight what he brought to this A-Class this year. What is it? What are you guys running?
Yeah, well, A-Class is interesting this year because the quality of boats is quite high. So oftentimes it's become a bit of a dumping ground, but this year everybody's come with pretty good packages. So it's quite nice that that's the case. Opening it up to the big blocks, they've put a bit of a restriction in there, but there's a lot of engines around that are quality and good in that field too that can drop into A-Class now. So that's a really good thing. This one's probably more of a traditional, genuine A-Class. It's a 468. It's a tall deck aluminium block, and it's got some pretty cool features on it, and they've done a pretty good job of it. It's been built by Chris Patton, and he's got a good reputation, although, it didn't work out for us last time.
2024, you guys showed up to the Pacific Northwest, and we chased you guys around, and it was the coolest sounding boat, I would say, in the world's last year in A-Class. And yeah, it's just a cool Brodix block, big Brodix heads. You guys are running stack intakes, fuel injection. There's a lot of really trick stuff going on. And like you said, it's a traditional A-Class because it's 468. So you guys are pushing the upper limits of what you can run for a naturally aspirated 470 cubic inch or under. So you're right on that limit. But other guys are running things like LSX, call them small blocks, but they're a cast iron LS-based power plant. Some guys are running 600 cubic inch big blocks and opting to use that 1050 carb that they're limited to. How do you think this thing's going to shake up against all your big competition?
I think we should be all right. We've probably got a weight advantage, which is going to be quite nice, and it's got a bit of power. Our big thing is that we need it to make it through the week. So we've taken some compression out of it. We've gone to some better fuel. We've tried to just mitigate a few things. The start of the week, we're going to bring the revs back in it. We want to get a few days in and see how things are shaping up. There's always sort of different ways you can run. You can go out of the gates and then pull back if you need to, but we've come a long way, so it'll be nice to get through a fair chunk of the week before making any big decisions.
Is there any one boat that you're thinking this year is coming into it and you're like, you got to watch out for this competitor because he's going to be strong?
It was pretty exciting to turn up yesterday and see Spencer King here. Yeah. I didn't expect that and didn't know that was happening, and to be in A-Class as well, that's going to be awesome. I watched a lot of his stuff, in early years when he was out at home and things, so he'll have a fast boat, no doubt.
Yeah, and Tom's referencing Spencer King, Russell King, legendary racers from Northwest Territories and Hay River here in Canada, and they showed up yesterday with Sunset Shaker. That boat originally raced in 1999, and they've always been a Ford family, so he's got a Ford big block in that thing, again, running a more traditional setup, A-Class boat. It's pretty cool to see.
It is pretty cool, yeah. We're a Ford family too, so this is a bit of one of those things. So yeah, no, it's quite exciting. I'm keen to have a look at it as well.
Awesome. Well, Tom, thanks so much for making the trek over here, and good luck this week.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
All right, finally we come to the unlimited class of boats, and it's really a run what you brung class. Historically, we've seen things like big blocks, 1,000 horsepower Chevy big blocks going up against Spencer King, the 1,000 horse Ford big block, and twin turbos, yeah. And then the turbines came in, 2011. We got this big feature story on you running a turbine against some of the trusted big blocks. You came away champion that year. What are we running here in 2025 for the unlimited class? A lot of turbines, right?
Well, we had a few 16s coming. Darren Weaver had one. Unfortunately, he's not going to run. He's going to run CX. But so the evolution of the turbine, from 2011, we had 8Fs, which were 1,400 horse, and then we migrated to 100s that were closer to the 1,650. And now this year is the first time for myself running a 16. So the 16 is a 1950 horse turbine. So Regan Williamson and myself were the only two that are going to run the big girls for this marathon. And then you have Chad, which is running a 100 or a 402. So it's pretty peppy. It's a 1,700 horse almost turbine. Yeah. Then we have a New Zealander over here, Kevin Hyde. He is running a old 8F. Yeah. And you can't count out any of those horsepower, because historically we got the lower horsepower to run quite. It was just an evolution. We get the horsepower running, get everything behind it running, and get it reliable. So the 8Fs are just dead reliable. We really got the 402s running reliable. We ran thousands of miles, and now we have the 16s. It's a whole new game. We're not quite sure what we got ourselves into.
Last year, we chased you around the Pacific Northwest in Oregon, the 2024 Worlds, and you had T1 figured out, it seemed like. That boat was just like clockwork. You arrived at the
T2.
boat launch. That was T2?
T2.
Okay, now this is T3.
This T3. T1's in New Zealand.
And it just keeps going up. So T1 right now is in New Zealand. T2 was last year's world champ. Now we're into T3, and that horsepower number just keeps crawling up higher and higher and higher. And we mentioned this a little bit when you were talking about the evolution of horsepower, but lots of people think, oh, 2,000 horse, that's not crazy. A ton of door slammer drag racers run that on the quarter mile all the time nowadays. Yeah. You're not running a quarter mile. That's the difference here. We're running 9 straight days of hardcore racing on rivers up to 63 miles. This is an engine builder's kind of worst nightmare in a lot of ways.
Yeah, the turbine side of it is reliability, and that's why we moved to the turbine. Is the reliability of them is you can't beat it. There's
especially around the 2,000 horse mark.
2,000 horse mark, you aren't going to beat the turbine. That's just how it is. About a 99% chance if this thing goes down, it will not be the turbine.
All right, Gord, well, you're coming in as the UIM1 boat. As I mentioned, we chased you around the Pacific Northwest in 2024, the fantastic worlds that were hosted down there, and we had a lot of fun. You're bringing that back to Canada. Do you feel like you've got a bit of a bullseye on your back coming into your home waters in 2025?
Yeah, I'm carrying the CDN one and the UIM one. We had a great season last year. This is a whole new race program that we're moved on to. I think it's going to work out good for us. I could be wrong, but you could be wrong with anything. But I think so far this has been a really good combination. It feels good. It runs smooth. It pulls respectable numbers. If I wanted to make, I'd probably have a better chance in T2 right now. T2 is that thing. Well, it's figured out. That thing will run morning, noon, night, and day. It's a proven. But we've always been about the evolution of the class. So we just keep progressing. So we just keep going. So win or lose, I will learn a lot more by the end of this race. Win or lose. So.
Well, I think on behalf of all the viewers out there, I know myself personally, I'm excited to see how T3 now does this week in racing. But I must mention, at the start of the interview, I mentioned in 2011 when we started splitting the big blocks from the turbines and we did a big feature piece, you walked away that year with the 2011 Canadian and World Championship. So congratulations. Maybe here we are 14 years later, you can do the same.
That's what I'm hoping.
All right,
that's
Gord.
What we're going for.
Well, good luck this week, Gord. We're going to be cheering you on. Good
Thank
job.
you. Pretty much.
So in the Unlimited, we got yourself, we got Regan Williams, another New Zealand racer, we got A-Class with Tom Kelly, we got CX with Justin Hill. You guys brought some pretty strong competition to Canada this year, didn't you?
Yeah, no, everyone, and everyone's pretty fast, to be fair. Justin will go well in CX, and Tom's got a good boat in A-Class, and obviously Regan's super quick now with that new boat. If everything holds together, we should have,
Fingers crossed, everyone does. James, you made it all the way over. This is your first time to Canada. You're excited to be here, and you brought a ton of friends, family. I heard there's like a whole contingent of dozens of other New Zealanders that brought boats over, and they've been pleasure boating all week in Canada here leading up to the Worlds.
Yeah. Obviously, James Murdoch and the boys are out there in their kilo crafts that they've brought right over to Canada. They're out there doing it. Some footage yesterday of them jumping some logs and some real backcountry stuff. Hey, look, it's a trip of a lifetime for them and also us.
Bit of testing, so we just got up in the plane and our bowl let go, so you haven't had anything like that before, so we're just under 150 mile an hour to zero, pretty quickly, so yeah.
But you're racing.
Yeah, racing, we're back, so we're pretty lucky. We only had the damage to the bowl, so we're lucky we didn't damage the shaft or the unit or anything like that, so pretty quick repair and run it up again, and we're good to go for tomorrow.
A huge thanks to everyone who came together and organized River Days in Peace River. The warm welcome from the community was felt by all race teams, both local and international. Stick around the Jet Boat Racing Canada social media pages, as well as the website all week long to get all the Velocity Video Productions daily updates on the races. And thanks again to Expert Mobile Communications for sponsoring this Day 1 highlight video.